Hello everyone, Cordell here. Today I'd like to talk about a topic that's been bothering me for a little bit now for some reason, and that is carrying a gun on ATV. Now, as you can see, I don't currently have any way on my bike to mount a gun on it. Right now, I just have my Swedish Mauser laid on the front rack, because one common way you see are these little hands that come up, these little rubbery hands that come up from the rack, and you hold the gun up kind of like this. Now obviously, if you have a really long gun like my Mauser here, it's longer than the bike is wide, and if you're going for alders, and you got alders and bushes and trees smacking up here and here, and that's not good. Don't like that. Another issue is, if you're driving the bike, say through town or on the trails or something, you're either going to be pointing the barrel at houses or at people on the other side of the road. And I don't like that either. Now, a third issue is, say you had an SKS and you want to put it on the front of your bike. Now, an SKS has a free floating trigger. It's possible, sorry, not a trigger, a firing pin, and it's possible that if you hit a bump hard enough and you left a bullet in the chamber, it'll fire. I think the Mythbusters actually did a bit of a test on it. They put a bunch of SKSs or AKs in a car and they turned up music loud enough that the guns actually fired off a few times. And that's really something to me. Another way that you commonly see are those like big plastic gun boots that mount to your front or back rack, but the same problem applies. At this point, the boot is going to be hitting its bushes, but the gun is still pointing at a house or at a person or something that you don't want to be pointing at. Now you can, I'm going to move my camera first. You can put those boots off to the side here, but one thing that you have to keep in mind is that it's out far enough that the gun isn't pointing at your leg, and at that point, again, the boot is going to be hidden by trees and bushes and shit. And again, that's ideally not what you want, because if you may be going for some rough terrain, and you're a bit close to that tree, you hope you get by it, and the next thing you know, your gun boot's torn off by a tree. That's not good. So, let me just move the camera a little bit more. I'm actually going to put it on the back right now. You can also put those little grabby hand things on the back. The same problem applies. The gun is still pointing at houses or people, and it's still going to get hit by trees. So what do I do when I want to carry a gun on ATV? Well, simple. You may have noticed that my Mauser has a sling on it. Now, I haven't really even adjusted this one yet because I haven't taken it anywhere, but I put the sling on. Doesn't horribly matter. Actually, yes, it does matter, because it's a bolt action. If you put it on the wrong side, the bolt is going to be digging into your back. So, you put the sling on, get on your bike. This one's actually a bit too long to ride on bikes like this because the buttstock is hitting right there. A bit of a shorter gun, and that wouldn't happen. In fact, with most of my guns, I don't think that'll happen. I drove around with a shotgun that's only a little bit shorter than this all fall, and I don't think it hit there once, because if that was rubber from the butt pad, that would wear right off just rubbing it like that. But, that's basically it for me. You put a sling on your gun, and at this point, you're not really pointing at anyone, it's pointing pretty much straight up. It's kind of going off your own movements. It's a lot harder to jostle it enough if it's like a free-floating firing pin to make it fire off, because your body kind of acts as a bit of a shock absorber, and it's just a lot safer if you ask me, and perhaps maybe even a bit more convenient Because if you want to get off and walk up somewhere, you get off, and you got the gun with you right here and now. You don't have to worry about bushes and trees hitting your gun nearly as much, because if you're driving off to the right side a little bit, this gun doesn't overhang any more than 5 or 6 inches. Oh geez, I don't even think it overhangs that much, probably 3 or 4 inches. If you're driving slightly off to the right of the trail, there's going to be a lot less bushes that come out far enough to hit it. But meanwhile, if you have it on the front of your bike, it's overhanging by 4, 5, 6 inches on either side, and if you have to pull off to one side or the other to let someone pass, or if it's a really narrow trail, it's a lot more likely to get hit by brush. So, that's just what I do, that's just what I think. There are certainly circumstances where using those little clamps and boots are probably very useful, but they're just not right for me. Of course, everyone's going to have a different opinion on this, and this is just my own opinion. I hope you guys enjoyed this short little video. It's pretty much a rant. Like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you next time.